Please come to order. Good evening and welcome. I am Randy Guy, President of the Commissioners of St. Mary's County. Before I introduce the other commissioners, I ask that you turn your cell phones off or on vibrate. Seated to my right, representing the 1st Commissioner District, which includes Ridge, Piney Point, St. George Island, Mr. Eric Colvin.
Good evening.
Representing the 2nd Commissioner District, which includes Leonardtown and Hollywood, Mr. Mike Hewitt.
Good evening.
Mike Alderson Jr., who represents the 3rd Commissioner District, which includes Charlotte Hall, 7th District, Golden, excuse me, Golden Beach, Mechanicsville. Goodness. I'm getting choked up here.
Yeah, it's emotional.
Is unable to join today, but he is going to be listening in.
Was so nice.
Sitting to my left, representing the 4th Commissioner District, which includes Leonardtown, Lexington Park, some of California, Great Mills, and some of Hollywood, Mr. Scott Ostro.
Good evening.
Seated at the end of the dais, David Weisskopf is our County Administrator.
Evening.
Jenna Guzman, our Communications Director, is seated at the table to my right.
Good evening.
Julia Birch is our timekeeper for the evening, is sitting in the front row, right there, the lady with the blue sweater on. Our video media production team is behind the glass. Ms. Guzman will now provide the format for tonight's public forum.
Thank you, Commissioner President Guy. Good evening. Here are the guidelines for tonight's public forum. All speakers who wish to address the commissioners are asked to please sign up in the lobby. All speakers are allotted 3 minutes to address the commissioners. At the end of the 3 minutes, I will let you know that your time has expired. We ask that you please respect the time limit to give all those who wish to speak an opportunity to be heard. The public forum is being televised live on St. Mary's County Government TV Channel 95 and streamed to our YouTube channel. It is critical that you speak directly into the microphone so that all those watching at home can hear you. This forum will re-air on Channel 95 this Saturday at 9 p.m. and Sunday at 8 p.m. and will remain available for on-demand viewing on our YouTube channel. We will now begin accepting comments from those who have signed up to speak. First up, Nancy Zierfoss. And if you could please start with your name and address for the record.
I live at 37145 Gibson Road, Bushwood, Maryland, 20618. Okay. So, I find myself angry, dismayed, and ashamed of the policies enacted by Donald Trump in this Congress. The policies that will most directly affect citizens are those related to protecting our environment, lessening climate change. We are in the midst of unprecedented weather-related phenomenon. And in the midst of this, Donald Trump and his administration have removed all reference to climate change from the White House and from other federal agencies. Other actions the Trump administration has taken include the following: reducing regulations that limit carbon emissions from coal-fired power plants, cars, and trucks, eliminating state policies that are not in agreement with those of the Trump administration. For example, Trump would like to eliminate California's authority to regulate emissions from cars sold in that state. Our public lands are clearly at risk. On June 23rd of this year, Trump opened up 58 million acres in national forests for road construction and development, abolishing protections that had been in place for a quarter of a century. On March 1st, the president signed an executive order to increase timber production across 280 million acres of national forest and federal land, allowing clear-cut logging. On April 8th, Trump issued an executive order directing the Attorney General to identify all state, local laws addressing climate change, environmental justice, and carbon emissions to make moves to block them. While there are many other actions this administration has taken that I could speak about, the last one I'll speak about are the staff cuts at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, better known as NOAA. On February 27th, more than 600 workers were laid off. This move stands to have profound impacts on the country's ability to protect public safety during extreme weather events that are only increasing in frequency as the planet warms. NOAA is a vital data resource on everything from hurricanes to droughts, which weather forecasters, local authorities, farmers, and others around the country rely on. The agency's weather alerts are also an essential warning system, allowing communities to protect themselves from extreme weather. Last year, NOAA recorded 27 weather and climate disasters with at least $1 billion in damages each, and is the second highest since the agency began tracking those numbers in 1980. In March, NOAA announced it would lay off an additional 1,000 workers. less than a month after its first round of cuts, as part of the Trump administration's effort to cull the federal workforce. I do not know about you, but this gives me a profound sense of uneasiness as we head into a future which seems to be full of possible disasters for which we will be much less prepared. We will also be subject to higher levels of pollution in our water, in our air, and we will see a great deal of our national treasures in our national forests and other national lands fall to the greed of the oil and gas companies. And lastly, I am ashamed of this country's creating and seeming to revel in the cruelty of the ICE internment camps that have been constructed. Our
Your
treatment
time.
of immigrants, whether
Please
legal
wrap
or
up.
not, should be a cause of concern for all people who care about the welfare of their fellow human beings.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Richard Lord.
You just listened to spouse Nancy, and I wanted to just reiterate what she has said, confirmed what she has said. Something you don't know about Nancy that you should know is when Nancy got her PhD in public policy and management from The Ohio State University, her job was she worked for the Maryland Public Service Commission, and she had oversight over telecommunications. Now, Verizon, AT&T wanted to add 3 new area codes to Maryland. Guess what county was to get a new area code? St. Mary's County. Nancy said, over in my dead body, are you going to add another area code to St. Mary's County? So, but what she did, she helped Verizon and AT&T develop a system to pool and recycle telephone numbers. So everybody came out the benefit because of federal government regulations. Can you imagine the millions of dollars that would have cost everybody down here? Businesses, governments, individuals, changing the numbers on billboards, size of trucks, the building signs, letterhead, everything. So this county has a great deal to thank for Nancy, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Roy Fetters. And if you could please start with your name and address for the record, sir.
I'm Roy Fetters, 16690 St. John's Neck Road in Dameron. I just want to bring your attention to the osprey population in St. Mary's County and pretty much all of southern Maryland. I've been going around in the area inspecting. Sure, I'm a little tall, so I guess I got to reach it up a little bit. Yeah. How's that? A little bit better?
Yeah, hold it close in.
Maybe you guys can hear me a little bit too well then. But just want to bring to your attention the osprey population, as I was saying a minute ago. It's in a significant decrease. Their young are either dying or have died, or in some cases I've seen ospreys not bother to build a nest. And commissioners might ask, well, how does that affect us? It affects St. Mary's County, which is a peninsula. And the health of the bay affects St. Mary's County. When you have bad health of the Chesapeake Bay, it's going to also impact St. Mary's County economically, as the bay deteriorates. And, I saw some of the reports before. They gave I don't know who, I think maybe the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, whoever it is, I'm not sure it's them or not, but somebody gave the bay as a, C or a C plus. And based on what I've seen, I would give it a D. And if we don't do anything now, as soon as possible, as a county, as a state, as a federal government, we're going to have some major problem. I think we already have a major problem on our hand. We're going to have a catastrophic problem. You may have a total collapse, of the ecology of the Chesapeake Bay, and we don't want that. So whatever you as a county group can do that to improve the Chesapeake Bay, and I'm going to write a letter to the governor and also to the president, who someone mentioned here earlier that maybe of help. I don't know, but I have to do everything I can in my part. And I'm also going to contact the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and ask them to do a survey. I believe they've done that a couple of years ago, and want to ask them to do it again significantly of all the population, not just the ospreys, because if one dies out, you're going to have others like egrets, blue herons, and others that depend upon that. Eagles, per se, they can eat, dead animals and stuff like that, pick up some animals, off of fields and stuff like that, so they're not impacted as much. But the migratory birds, such as ospreys, they have some protection in the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and so hopefully U.S. Fish and Wildlife can do something based on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anne Gregory? Okay, thank you. Jennifer Davis?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jennifer Davis. I live at 45803 Spruce Drive in the Town Creek neighborhood of Lexington Park, 20653. I'm here to talk to you tonight because I am a military veteran. I was in the Navy, and I have disabilities that were caused by my service. I also am a federal employee. So when I learned what the service is trying to do with unmanned vehicles, I said, that is where I need to be trying to help. I felt like it was my calling. So I have been absolutely appalled to see what this administration is trying to do to the federal workforce. And I don't know how well you are informed about what is truly going on. I don't know how many people you know that work on base that are government civilians. But I mean, anybody who reads the news has seen that the GOP in the House and the Trump administration loves to demonize government employees, claim that we don't work, claim that if we're teleworking, we're not actually doing any work. I don't know if this is the pot calling the kettle black, because a certain person certainly spends a lot of his time golfing on the taxpayer's dime, which I certainly would never do. But anyway, to get back to what I was going to tell you, veterans make up a very large portion of the federal workforce. It's around 30% on average, and that number is much higher in the VA, the Veterans Administration, and in DOD. So any news you see about what's happening with the VA, the cuts that they are making, this is going to impact veterans, not just because their medical care is going to be compromised, their appointments are going to get canceled, which has happened to me personally, right? And then you have to wait several months more to get another appointment with a VA-approved doctor. But you're going to lose specialists. When I first got my appointment at the VA in May for my disability, I was able to get an appointment with a specialist. It was supposed to be this week, and it was canceled. And now the closest appointment I could get would be in Charlotte Hall, and it, of course, will be several more months away. So these are the sort of cuts that the VA is experiencing. And if you think for 1 second that this administration had any sort of plan in place before it made these cuts, that is a lie. They came in and they put in a hiring freeze. They created this deferred resignation program. They let anybody who wanted to apply for it. They are not letting anybody hire anybody that took the DRP. You cannot replace that person ever. You're not even supposed to replace them with a contractor. So for a while there, after DRP2, I was trying to do 2 jobs because my competency lost 2 people in my program office alone. And so I was trying to juggle 2 jobs, which wasn't really helping my mental health very much. And eventually I did get up to speed and I'm able to do it, but I'm certainly not able to do it well. I can assure you of that.
Is expired. Please wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Diana Dissons? Diggins, I apologize. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diana Diggins. I live at 43945 Mainway Road, Leonardtown, Maryland. Really Valley Lee, but whatever. I'm here tonight to request that the Board of County Commissioners consider how the vulnerable communities will be supported when the big, beautiful bill goes into effect and Medicaid is cut. And this is really a serious thing that is going to affect our community. In 2016, I brought my mother here with me because of her worsening dementia. I took on the challenge of finding her care so that I could continue to work and keep her safe. As I was told by someone from the Department of Aging, you better be prepared because there are not many services available to help. And boy, was she right. So I struggled to find her adequate care until she qualified for Medicaid and could live in a nursing home with 24/7 care, which she really needed. It's not easy to get on Medicaid, by the way. From private caregivers to Cedar Lane by the skin of my teeth for a while, and then an outside private home care, which was very expensive and unregulated. During this time, I was running my business, which was a treat, and all of my extra money went to my mom's care. My income earning years went to my mom's care. So now I'll be going on Medicaid if it exists again. The cost of private care, even part-time private care, is really expensive. Because of her worsening dementia, she finally qualified for nursing care paid for by Medicaid and her Social Security, which I don't know if you all know, but when you get Medicaid, you also, when you're over 65, you give up your Social Security, but for $100. It's a little-known fact that Medicaid is not a check and that people receive like welfare. It is a medical insurance benefit of hospitalization, medication, and other healthcare-related services for the very poor. It is also provided for people with intellectual disabilities and severely chronic conditions, as well as low-income seniors. It is distributed as food assistance for the poor via a debit card issued by the government, only usable for food, not a check, and not cash. No one is getting rich from Medicaid. Benefits are submitted to Medicaid and paid directly to service providers. Anything other than that you hear is a lie. If Medicaid were to be cut tomorrow, not only would my mother be out of a nursing home, and the nursing home would most likely close, I would have to bring her home, quit my job, and ultimately become destitute, caring for her 24 hours a day, unable to work. I'm hoping you can see what a vast problem Medicaid cuts will pose in our county. 16% of people in this county are 65 or over, and 8.9% of those rely on Medicaid. That's roughly 10,235 people. Roughly 13,000 residents receive SNAP benefits, and there are approximately 1,000 disabled Medicaid recipients. The sum total there is 24,000 people out of a county of 115,000. That's 21% of this county that's on Medicaid and would be in potentially dire circumstances without it. So tonight, when you lay in bed, imagine if
Time has
nursing homes
expired. Please wrap up.
closed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Moretta Devanata.
Good evening. My name is Moretta DiVenuta. I live at 43824 Royal Fern Lane in California, 20619. Much like fellow people already speaking tonight, I want to start off with saying thank you for your time, fellow community members and board. The impacts of this administration are seen in so many ways, as we've already heard, as well in as many unseen ways. For me personally, I have been feeling the impacts of this administration in a very personal way. They say they're a party and an administration for family values and come up with these ridiculous incentives to have more births in our country. I myself am not having another child because of the trauma I experienced in my first child birthing experience and hospital trauma. And the continuing concerns and restrictions on reproductive health, reproductive care, especially in a county that doesn't have a lot of resources, and the resources we do have sometimes have not great reviews. So across the country, I'm seeing concerning things to where if I need specialist care, where am I gonna go? That being said, I encourage our county and our state to continue to maintain the safety and uphold what they've been doing for reproductive care as a safe space for all reproductive care. That includes abortion care because it is medical care, depending on what is going on. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Carlson.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Carlson. I live at 43918 Eucalyptus Way, California, Maryland. I just came here wanting to voice my support in a few investments you've made in the county and wanting you to continue. those investments. Number one, the free public transit and that app. I think that's really great, and I think that that's going to help a lot of people. So thanks for that. And a couple of my friends and I were going to try it out this weekend and, see how it goes. And on that note, I was wondering if there's potential for it to expand to people that work on the base, because I know I don't work on the base, but there's a lot of them. So I wonder if that's a thing, if the Navy, if that could be done. It would probably reduce road wear and congestion. Number two, the county parks are numerous and great, and we are very, very lucky to have those because they do not have that everywhere. And in a time where like federal lands are under threat, like it's just, it's not necessarily a right, but it is a great privilege that we have, and I am very happy about the parks we have. Number three, the YMCA that's being built. I think that's going to be really great for the Lexington Park area. Number four, the school-based health centers, like in Great Mills High School. I think that's a really good thing for that community, for our community. And yeah, all of these investments, community building investments, I think are going to be more important than ever. Like factoring in, what comes to mind is the Stewart's Grant development and those like 1,000 plus influx of people coming into that area, and just in general for our community. It'll be good. And I am hopeful that the master plan is completed timely and taken seriously, because I am apprehensive about some of the developments that are happening in the county, like Stewart's Grant, but also, the gas stations and the storage unit facilities. And I think there's a lot of people on the Facebook that share that, but won't come out and say that. So hopefully the master plan can speak to some of that and has some good insights for you. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Troy Cowan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I continue to be Troy Cowan, the old man of Lexington Park, 21411 South Essex. And this evening, I'm also the proud advocate for the Great Mills YMCA. I'm here speaking for Tony Sigmund. He couldn't be here. He's on the road, but he asked me to give this update. Of the YMCA, you're number 3. Thank you. Concrete for the first floor is poured. Cinder block walls for the gym and the elevator are underway. Steel arrives in 2 weeks, and the cranes are going to be here August 11th. If you want a good show, go watch the cranes. Curb and gutter will follow soon. Construction completion is targeted for late summer of 2026. Funding status, we still have about $3 million left to raise in fundraising. We ask folks help to meet that goal so that the YMCA can open debt-free and provide services on a need-available basis. Free programs continue to be Parkinson's Rock Steady. We will give swim lessons to all 5th graders. I believe 6th graders are going to get a year membership. So come one, come all, the YMCA is coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, sir.
Brandon Russell.
Good evening. Brandon Russell, P.O. Box 11, Clements. I've noticed a pattern with our local government. and that is that sometimes the commissioners act decisively and sometimes they don't. I've also seen accountability get passed around when in truth it really stops here with you. Drive down Route 235 in Charlotte Hall and flip a U-turn at Route 236 and you'll pass 9 gas stations in a 6-mile, 14-minute loop. Commissioner Alderson noted this recently. But last week when this board had the chance to address that oversaturation, Commissioners Guy, Hewitt, and Ostro voted against moving forward. On planning and zoning, I often hear the refrain, the Planning Commission handles that. But members of that commission, past and present, have said your zoning ordinance ties their hands. They see the need for change, but they don't have the power to act, and you do. You appoint the Planning Commission. Why appoint them if they'll be ignored? You adopt the comprehensive plan and the zoning laws they follow. You can revise them when necessary. The process to update the comprehensive plan is underway, but it's slow, and that shouldn't stop you from addressing urgent issues now. I assume you're aware of the Planning Commission's concerns and the public's frustration with unchecked development. If not, that's even more troubling. Examining your decisions, I can only go by what's said in meetings and what's available in public records. Last week, Commissioner Hewitt disclosed he owns a gas station, Sheetz in California, but still voted on a motion related to gas station zoning. Maybe that's legal, but it doesn't feel right. By contrast, Commissioner Ostro recused himself from votes related to the Pax River Village townhomes because the developer, Atlantic Realty, donated to his campaign. I appreciated that transparency. But here's the bigger picture. Collectively, the 5 of you have received approximately $54,000 from developers, Commissioner Hewitt accounting for over half, and that's just through 2022. The money, combined with deflection of accountability, presents questions about your decision-making. Public faith in government is at an all-time low, but it doesn't have to be that way if you're thoughtful with your decision.
Kimberly Mumford.
Good evening, St. Mary's County Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Kimberly Mumford, and I'm attending this public forum tonight to express my concerns for my disabled retired Navy husband and our Navy family. And we are new residents to Leonardtown, Maryland. We moved here in December of 2023 after we retired out of the state of California, the actual state of California, in the fall of 2023. These are my concerns. We are worried that the federal government will do something that will affect my husband's Navy disability. After he served active duty for 20 and a half years in the United States Navy. And our family moved all over the world and stateside for the needs of the U.S. government, the United States Navy, and my husband's Navy career. And we are very proud of our service in the United States Navy. And I descend from people that served during the Revolutionary War and every war except for Afghanistan. And my brother went twice to the war in Iraq. And he did 10 to 12 years active duty, U.S. Army, and he's in the Pennsylvania National Guard, I think 12 years. He's one rank higher than my husband. I can't think of the rank right now because he's Army. My second concern, we're worried about the cuts that will affect the closing of VA hospitals and VA clinics because I need to continue to take care of my husband because he's a disabled veteran. I saved my husband's life in a horrible Navy accident during his chief season promotion. If I was not home and did not grow up watching ER shows with my disabled veteran dad who served in the 60s, active duty in the Navy before I was born, my husband would not be alive today. And I like George Clooney in the 90s when I was at Penn State. That's how I remembered what to do to save my husband's life during his chief season promotion. And if you believe in heaven, my grandfather came from heaven to help me stop crying. I'm a Catholic, an Irish Roman Catholic. My grandfather died when I was 3, but I remember him. He was an American war hero. He ran 40 yards in World War II and saved a bunch of men. He got the Silver Star, several Purple Hearts, the highest honor in France, and several medals. He came from heaven to help me stop crying and to shut off every feeling I had because I'm a Catholic. A job is a job. I love my country. I love the Navy. But my husband means everything to me. And he was on life support, given 72 hours to live. The reason he's here, when I got on the phone with 911 operators after I saved him 3 times on the floor, they met the Italian and German girl. As my husband calls me, the Italian battalion stallion fixer. I never need a man to fix anything. I'm strong and independent. I've been working since I'm 12 to support my family.
Your time has
I'm one of 5
expired. Please
kids.
wrap up.
Oh, I didn't get to say everything. But we're really concerned about the VA clinic and the cuts because my husband needs continued treatment. And if they continue these cuts, we need to see those specialists and we need to see those doctors. I love my country. I love being a Navy spouse, and we just moved here. But we're really concerned about that. And we're concerned about them coming after TRICARE because I'm older now. I look young. So we're worried about that. And we do pay for our TRICARE for me. So we're worried about them. When I say them, we're worried about the federal government coming after TRICARE, that we pay for that TRICARE. We pay for the deductibles.
I'm sorry, ma'am,
And
but your time
I'm
is
really
up.
sorry, but that's our concerns tonight. And I hope you guys appreciate us and all of us that serve our country because we love our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leah Sowers.
So I've actually prepared informational packets for you. I'm going to go ahead.
Sure. Give them to her. Give them to her.
Oh, sorry.
Give them to her.
Okay. So my name is Leah Sowers. I'm from 21620 Liberty Street, number 527 in Lexington Park. One lady actually brought it up earlier. I think it was really great. We need more reproductive options in our community. And I think one great option is the Safe Haven law, and in extension of that, Safe Haven boxes, baby boxes, that can be installed in our county. I've found through me talking about this before I've come here tonight, most people don't even know what the Safe Haven law is in our county. So I think we really need to push that and advertise it a lot more, whether that be pamphlets in the sheriff's office and fire stations, put it on our website, online. I think that would be fantastic. A lot of women, I think they think their only 2 options are abortion or keep the baby. I've done some research, and Planned Parenthood gave me these numbers themselves. 2022 to 2023, 96.9% of the time when women came in for help with their pregnancy, they were sold an abortion rather than given prenatal care, given care for a miscarriage, or help to make an adoption plan. And their adoption referrals were only 0.5% of the services that they offered. For every adoption referral, they carried out 187 abortions, and I think that's because women don't know there are other options out there. So again, push Safe Haven laws. Also, the baby boxes I think are fantastic. Have you all ever heard of a baby box? Fantastic device. They're padded boxes, ventilated, air temperature controlled, and the policy is if someone places a baby in the box, within 5 minutes they're come and collected, and they are then looked over, make sure they're good medically, and then they are put into the adoption system, foster system, all of that. In fact, one thing I think that shows this well is in August 2023 in Carmel, Indiana, they were actually able to secure an adoptive family for a child who was surrendered within 12 hours of them being surrendered. That is fantastic, and I think we could really use that in our community, especially in Lexington Park. One thing I've found that's been a little bit of a block for this is a lot of our fire and sheriff stations are not 24 hours up there. I have heard that the EMS station in Lexington Park is 24 hours though, and I think it would be fantastic to put one in there. I've included in your packets like the whole steps for how to install one and all that, and they will send out training to train the entire staff for free for you once you install one. So yeah, I just think that would be a great thing to add to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amelia Yunker.
Amelia Yunker, Lexington Park, Maryland. I'm here to voice my concern that data centers might be coming to Southern Maryland, and to be clear, I don't want them here. 2 recent Southern Maryland news articles in Friday's paper mentioned that both Charles and Calvert counties seem to be amenable to bringing data centers to the area. One Charles County commissioner said he's, quote, calling for legislation that supports data centers. Calvert County commissioners have reached out to the Maryland Association of Counties and has named one of their priorities to advance to the Maryland General Assembly was support of the sales and use tax exemption that is intended to attract data centers. One Calvert County commissioner says that legislators who want to keep data centers out of Maryland don't care about us. With much of St. Mary's County focus on our agricultural history, our pride in our rural ways and waterways, and our ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure, I see the addition of data centers to this area as a detriment and deterrent to all of these goals. There are plenty of news stories about the inability of communities to fulfill the demand these data centers place on their utilities, both water and electric, the impact on property and personal health, and these news stories and statistics do not appear to be isolated incidents. The commissioners have made it clear that they support personal property rights and are against adding undue burdens on property owners who want to sell, rent, and/or develop their property. I tend to agree with that philosophy to a point. While I too have thought recently that there have been an abundance of gas station development concentrated in certain areas of the county, there isn't much I can do short of buying and developing the land myself, so long as they follow all the development codes and rules in place. Data centers, however, do not solely impact that property and the individuals involved in the associated transactions. In 2023, the Washington Post reported that, at that time, more than 30% of the world's data centers are located in the US and accounts for 2% of the nation's electricity usage. A large data center can use between 1 million and 5 million gallons of water a day, or as much as a town of 10,000 to 50,000 people. And data centers rank among the top 10 water-consuming commercial industries. The population of St. Mary's County is around 115,000, according to the 2020 census data. Court documents show that St. Mary's Metropolitan Commission allowed more than 76,000 gallons of sewage spills between December 2022 and June 2024, and was only slapped with a $250,500 fine. If we can't trust the utility companies to monitor and regulate their own water usage and discharge, how can we expect them to control the usage of a data center that could increase the daily water consumption of the county by possibly over 40%? I cannot condone or control addition of data centers to this area, but I hope St. Mary's commissioners will not take the same path as our neighboring counties. Let's be known for community centers, not data centers.
Thank you.
Commissioner President Guy, that was the last person we had signed up to speak. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Anyone who didn't sign up, would you like to get up and speak now? So we'll give you time. Nope, you've already spoken. Anyone else that hasn't spoken? Anyone? You can be heard now.
Hi, I'm Zakia Cunningham, 46817 Kylie Addison Court, Lexington Park, Maryland, 20653. If 21% of St. Mary's County is suffering because of these cuts, what would our country look like? Who are we here? Who we say we are is a largely Catholic community steeped in the principles of charity and kindness. I am appealing to you today to gather together and to have some serious conversations about how the county, in concert with its various agencies, can support these vulnerable population. When this happens, it's time to prepare. Thank you for your time. Before that, I am also a spouse of a disabled Navy veteran. I'm also a mother of one. I also had a traumatic birthing experience. So all the things that have been expressed today are also very deeply personal to me, and I appreciate your time and consideration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Now's your time to speak in front of the commissioners and the public with your concern. Those of you who have spoken already, you have been heard, and I assure you our directors will get information back out to you. You'll get some kind of a letter from us or a response with information from either the directors responsible for the area of your concern, and hopefully we can help out somehow. Some of the issues, though, at the federal and sometimes the state level, we have very little, you might say, that we can do. We are also veterans up here, sitting up here too, and I understand your concerns. I use the VA a lot myself. But anyway, at this time, if there's no other questions, no one wants to speak, we will now close the public hearing.